Way back in 1985, CBS gave us the television show The Equalizer. It starred Edward Woodard as Robert McCall, a retired intelligence agent with a mysterious past who used his skills from his former career to exact justice on behalf of innocent people who find themselves in dangerous circumstances. Now, the show only lasted 4 seasons, and despite the interesting premise, I can honestly say I had never watched it. That's because it ran opposite of St. Elsewhere, which was a show that I preferred. So when The Equalizer went off the air in 1989, I don't think anybody ever thought of it again. But Hollywood, always looking to dig up the past, turned its greedy eyes to this obscure 80s show, and in 2014 gave us a film version of The Equalizer starring Denzel Washington. This film was a surprise hit. It received both box office success and critical acclaim. It was an excellent film. If you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend it. Now, this was followed by Equalizer 2 in 2018. And while still commercially successful, it did not receive the same critical acclaim, and honestly, it's understandable. I just thought it was blah, very mid. So I figured that was the end of the franchise because we didn't hear anything about it for 4 years. That is until last January when it was announced that Equalizer 3 would begin filming in Italy. And this past weekend, Equalizer 3 was released. So like I said, I thought the first was a great film, and the second was weak. How about this? It is a return to form, or just another generic action movie that you will forget about after seeing it? Well, before we answer that, let's talk a little bit about the plot of this film. So our story begins in a secluded Sicilian villa where we find carnage everywhere. We go room to room and see many men killed in gruesome ways. We then stumble upon our main character sitting and awaiting the arrival of the owner of the villa. McCall asks the owner to return something he stole. When he refuses, McCall summarily dispatches him and the rest of his men. However, as he is leaving, he is shot and wounded by the owner's grandson. As he attempts to drive away, he passes out behind the wheel of his car, where he is found by a policeman who takes him to a doctor in the small town of Altamonte. As he recovers, he befriends the town folks and soon discovers that his new friends are under the control of the local crime bosses. As events turn deadly, McCall becomes their protector by taking on the mafia. Directed by Antoine Fuqua, who helmed the first two, the plot borrows heavily from westerns. You know, the stranger who is just passing through a small town, minding his own business. We don't know anything about him other than he might have a shady past. He's drawn into the lives of the innocent townfolk who develops feelings of friendship and love for, and he helps them overcome the evil men trying to subjugate them. But despite using this old storyline, it works pretty well here. And we could lay that at the feet of Denzel Washington. Let's be honest, Denzel might be our greatest living actor. His ability to elevate this otherwise generic storyline to something special is great to watch. And Fuqua does a great job moving the story along. When it comes to violence, boy, this movie has it in spades. The violent scenes are incredible, they're bloody, they're jarring. But the rest of the movie features Washington at his best. And while there are no surprises here, there are visceral kicks to be found in the business-like, effective way where McCall exacts his retribution, and the devilish glint in Washington's eyes as he delivers it. And the director is able to focus on what makes these movies weirdly delightful. Watching the very strange yet endearing character of Robert McCall, charming the innocent while striking fear into the hearts of those who should fear righteous justice. It also co-stars Dakota Fanning. She is a CIA agent who McCall befriends for reasons unknown until the end, where we find out the exact reason why he's helping her. Now we get a strong performance from the entire cast, and the backdrop of the Amalfi Coast of Italy is breathtaking. Makes me want to go grab my passport and head to the airport. Now, not everything works in this movie. There are parts that are exceedingly slow, and the main villain, he isn't really overly menacing. I mean, at times he's careless, but at other times he acts like a child. You're never really just overwhelmingly scared of him. And the plot, it's not the most original. But that being said, let's give this film a 7 out of 10. Now, if you're a fan of the first two, you will definitely enjoy this. This might be the strongest of the three. And the good news is, if you haven't seen the first two, you really don't have to. This is a standalone movie. It helps if you know something about this character, however. If you like action films and are a fan of Denzel Washington, and honestly, how can you not be, then this movie is for you. Well, that's all for this week. Join me again next week while I bring you another video on whatever TV show or movie I decide to watch. And do me a favor if you can, click the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, share this video with a friend. And I hope you enjoyed it, but if you didn't, well, I thank you for your valuable time anyway, and I'll see you next week. Take care.